And every once in a while, we'd look up at the Republicans. They had driven into the ditch, but they'd gotten out and they were kind of taking a break, fanning themselves and sipping on a Slurpee, watching us do all the work. And every once in a while, they'd say, "Why don't you push harder? You're not pushing the right way, Obama." But they didn't help.
That's President Obama on the trail yesterday. You know, top-line mugs are so yesterday. I'm into top-line Slurpees.
No doubt. And what is the problem with Slurpees? Top line begins right now.
Hello and welcome to ABC News' Top Line. I'm Rick Klein.
And I'm Jonathan Karl.
Every day at noon Eastern, right here, bring you the latest in politics, everything you need to know about what's going on in the world today. Twitter.com/Rick Klein, Twitter.com/John Karl, where we are never above cheap political stunts.
No, I just wanted to point out we do have some top line mugs here, and Rick, these are my mugs.
Only mine has your name on it.
Yeah, okay.
Say.
Well, let's start right off with foreign scare. The President of the United States is making allegations about foreign money being used in the campaign. Foreign money being used by the Chamber of Commerce and other Republican interest groups. What's interesting about this campaign, which is also, we're hearing from the DNC, has got an ad up that actually shows Chinese currency and says that Republicans may be using a foreign money on this campaign. The fascinating thing about this attack is there is absolutely no proof that has been offered by the White House.
That is exactly right. They don't have anything here. They focused on a blog posting that was posted on a liberal blog last week, and they blew that up and they put it into a presidential address. It seemed like he backed off the language a little bit yesterday, the president saying yesterday that it may be the case because we don't know the funding sources, but you're right, and we're seeing a coordinated Democratic effort to make this into a campaign issue. The possibility that foreign money could be a funding attack
and specifically Chinese money.
Chinese money in particular. Next up today, brainwashed. That's Carl Palladino's fear. He's, of course, the Republican candidate, the Tea Party candidate for governor in New York. And check out what he had to say yesterday speaking to a group of Hasidic Jews.
I just think my children and your children will be much better off and much more successful getting married and raising a family. And I don't want them to be brainwashed into thinking that homosexuality is an equally valid or successful option. It isn't.
And Mr. Palladino went on Good Morning America today and explained that he actually has a gay nephew, and he isn't sure as to whether homosexuality is a choice or not, but he's pretty sure it is not.
What an odd thing, though. I mean, here he is in this small group, and he's reading from prepared remarks, making this statement. It's very strange, although...
On a day where New Yorkers read headlines about a terrible gay hate crime.
Exactly. And, you know, the other thing we saw, and of course he wasn't necessarily serious about this, but he was also making the allegation that Andrew Cuomo may not be Italian. You know, he could be adopted,
right,
he said.
Always a possibility.
All right, well, here's the next one. Ohio, Republican candidate for Congress in Ohio running against Democrat Marcy Kaptur, a race that Republicans really believe they had a shot of winning. Maybe they still do. But take a look at Rich Lott, the Republican candidate. There he is, dressed up as a Nazi. Apparently the Atlantic broke this story. Apparently he was involved in a reenacting group, as you know, right. I guess many people are.
Right. Yes, I suppose so. Yeah, Nazi uniforms seldom mix well with politics.
Yeah,
as a general rule. This is what you're getting. We're getting with Mr. Ayotte. You get it with other first-time candidates, the neophyte candidates. You get some unexpected things come out of their closets, and this is going to have to downgrade Republican chances in this district and maybe elsewhere as people see more images of this particular.
And he had been listed on Republicans had listed him as one of their contenders, which is like a step below the Young Guns, but apparently he's no longer on that
all right,
list.
well, I guess you can put the photo up instead. And finally today, taking aim. A lot been made recently about that West Virginia Senate race. Take a look at Governor Joe Manchin's latest ad. He is something in his sights.
And I'll take dead aim at the cap and trade bill because it's bad for West Virginia.
Now that was a terrific shot right there.
Now here's what we need to find out, and I did some calls on this today, and I've not been able to actually get an answer yet. But I want to be sure that that was in fact his shot that went through that from that distance, because we know that accuracy in these West Virginia ads is very important. Not just the accuracy of the shot, but was this a reenactment? Did he actually take the shot? Did he? Because if so, kudos.
It just so happens we have a guest who may help us get to the bottom of questions just like that. We have joining us from New York right now, Damian Muziani, who is an actor and a comedian, and you may know him as the middle Hick from that ad that aired last week, the NRSC's ad that was attacking Mr. Manchin up in West Virginia. And thank you, Mr. Muziani, for joining us. And I want to ask you, first of all, because you're wearing a different outfit today, have you ever been, or are you now a Hick?
I honestly don't know what the word means, Rick, but thanks for having me on the show. And I can answer one of your questions right away. It was a snapshot of me on that bullseye that Joe Manchin was shooting at, just so that you guys know.
Fair enough.
But those stripes that you have on right now seem thin. I guess before we get to the substance of all this, I just have a question about the ad itself. Was that your own shirt that you were wearing in that ad?
Yeah, the wardrobe choices are all ones that when you work on a commercial as an actor, you're usually told to bring as many different choices as you have. So a lot of times there are mixing and matching going on. I think the shirt was another actor's that brought that along. It's not mine, not my choice for wardrobe. Not something you'll see me in out on the street. I kind of look like an overweight Grinch that stole Christmas in that ad. As far as a Hick, I can't comment. I don't know what a Hick is really.
Oh, well, yeah, we're finding out what it isn't anyway in the attack ads that are flying out there. But I want to ask you, how uncommon is this? I mean, this happens really all the time, right? When the real people in advertisements are seldom, quote unquote, real people.
Well, as far as political campaigns, no, you're absolutely right. Actors are utilized. I think the real problem is in the communication when a candidate hires actors to give their message. That's what it is. It's their message. So they can use a real person if they want, but they still have to get their message across. So if you want a real person reading a script, you might as well have an actor because they're going to be less likely to not give you the different takes and be able to not lose their nerve. Planes flying overhead, cut. We got to change the battery, cut. That's what actors are here for.
Now, the National Republican Senatorial Committee, which paid for that ad, which made that ad, has wanted to make abundantly clear that this was not their casting call that went out asking for a hickey blue-collar look. That this was not even the firm that they hired to make the ad, but it was the firm they hired used to go out and get the actors. My question to you is, did you see that casting call? Because apparently the firm that the Republicans used to make the ad also had their own casting call, which made no reference to this hickey blue-collar look.
Well, John, you have to be careful with the terminology because there's a casting call, and then there's what's known as a booking sheet. And I've seen references from both of these items mentioned. A casting call is we're looking for a certain type, or we're looking for this. And that casting call did not have the word hick or hickey in it. If I remember correctly, they were looking for people who represent an area of the country in, say, Pittsburgh, Ohio, West Virginia area. But it was very vague. The word hick or hickey showed up on what's known as a booking sheet, which is only put out after the actors are already cast. So these three good buddies that you see in the commercial already had the job and were already on board with their roles before getting this word hickey on their booking sheet.
And how did you react when you saw that?
You know, I kind of just skimmed over it. A booking sheet for me just tells you where you have to be to shoot a commercial, specifics about what to wear. So those are all nouns, flannel, trucker hat, boots, all of those things are there. Yeah, I can't put hickey into a noun unless it's the kind that shows up on your neck or something. These are make-out king, truckers or something. So I couldn't really put it into a vision, but I understand what flannel looks like. I understand what trucker hats look like, and I brought as many clothes as I could that fit what they were looking for.
Now, you've obviously gotten a flurry of attention and publicity over this over the last week. What do you think, going forward, what is this going to mean for political ads? Do you think it's likely that campaigns are going to be trying to vet the folks that they have in them, even paid actors?
Well, actors are very important in being able to get across a political message. And I can't speak for all actors, but I've seemed to be the focal point for this hot-button topic of theatrical politics. So on behalf of all actors, don't tase me, bro. You're still looking at an item, you're looking at a product that a candidate is trying to sell. So when you go to the drugstore and buy a birthday card for your mom, your mom's not going to look at that card and say, oh, I love the author of this card so much. No, she's going to say, my son loves me. Well, your son didn't write the card. He paid someone to do it for him the right way. And that's what actors are supposed to do. John Manchin put out a commercial saying they hired Philadelphia actors to pretend to be West Virginians. So I guess Joe Manchin would rather have real West Virginian actors ripping him on camera. Is that any better?
I guess that's the alternative. So has this been good for business?
It's been good. My agent, Seth Mayeri, is standing by, he's eating half a pizza and fielding calls. And don't get me wrong, really, no actor wants to get attention this way, but you know what? You have to take it. You have to take an opportunity when it comes. I call it the Cato effect. Cato Kalin had his 15 minutes of fame, and he didn't have the chops. And we'll see if I do. I think I do, but remains to be seen.
All right.
Every Knox, just before you go, I want to get a sense of your own politics. You're there in a big political state, especially this cycle. Are you paying attention? Are you have you weighed in on the Pennsylvania Senate race?
I haven't, and I would be remiss if I called myself a pundit in any case. On a broader scope of things, my personal opinion is, I don't know if the condition of the country was something where Barack Obama would have been in a position to be able to fix so many things in such a short period of time. So on one hand, it's easy to say, you know, I'm kind of disappointed halfway into the term. On the other hand, I have to think, I don't know who would have done better. I don't know where we would have been with someone else. I know things were bad, and they're still really bad, and that's why, you know, getting work is very, very important for everyone, and of course the actor.
All right, Damian Muziani, we wish you luck in getting work and in playing Hicks or any other kinds of parts. We really appreciate it.
Take care, y'all.
Well, John, y'all, you hear that?
Yeah,
that sounded
good,
almost hicky to me.